The Dark Skies event is coming to Pokemon Go, and it features the return of Crowned Zacian and Zamazenta and the debut of Eternatus into the game. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to get this Pokemon and how it works, because it is quite different to the average Pokemon. I'll also be going through everything else the event has to offer and the best tips for it. So the event runs from August 18th at 10 AM until the 23rd at 10 AM local time. But what exactly does this event have to offer? Well, for the bonuses, which will be running from 12 AM to 11:59 PM local time each day of the event, more power spots will be active than normal, power spots will be refreshing more frequently, the max particle collection limit will increase, and from August 18th until the 22nd, the remote raid limit will increase to 30 each day. And this event will feature the return of every max Pokemon that has been released so far in the game. On Monday the 18th, you will be able to encounter Max Squirtle, Caterpie, Ghastly, Krabby, Shuckle, Sableye, Beldum, Latias, Latios, Trubbish, Sobble, and Hatenna. On Tuesday the 19th and Wednesday the 20th will be Max Charmander, Omanyte, Kabuto, Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, Pidove, Drillbur, Cryogonal, Rookidee, Toxtricity in its amped and low-key forms, and Scorbunny. And on Thursday the 21st and Friday the 22nd will be Max Bulbasaur, Machop, Chansey, Raikou, Suicune, Entei, Wailmer, Darumaka, Persimmon, Grookey, Squovat, Wooloo, and Phalanx. And I will be going through which of these are the best to focus on and counters for the more difficult ones to beat later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. For the raids, in 1-star raids will be Sinistea, in 3-star raids will be Galarian Farfetch'd and Galarian Weezing, in 5-star raids from August 18th until the 20th will be the hero of many battles forms of Zacian and Zamazenta. On the 21st will be the hero of many battles Zacian, and on this day there will be a special raid hour at 6 PM local time that will feature the crown form of Zacian. And on the 22nd in 5-star raids will be the hero of many battles Zamazenta, and again there will be a raid hour on this day at 6 PM local time featuring the crown form of Zamazenta. In the wild during the event will be Grookey, Scorbunny, Sobble, Squovat, and Wooloo. And there will be a free timed research rewarding Zacian Candy, Zamazenta Candy, and encounters with Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble. And probably the biggest feature of this event is the debut of Eternatus in Pokemon Go. Starting Monday, August 18th at 10 AM, you will automatically receive a new Go Pass for the Max Finale event. And this will be free, but there is a deluxe version like the regular Go Pass that you can buy. But luckily, you will be able to get the encounter with Eternatus for free from the free Go Pass. And you will be able to collect Go points for the Go Pass to rank it up to get additional rewards until Sunday, August 24th at 9 PM local time. However, there is a little bit of a catch. From the 18th until the 22nd, you can only collect Go points until you reach a daily cap. This is to get a head start before the Max Finale event on the 23rd and 24th, where the amount of points that you can receive will be uncapped. And do make sure you claim the rewards for this Go Pass by August 26th at 9 PM local time, because they will expire at this time. But what exactly will you get from the free and the deluxe versions of this Go Pass? So from the free pass, you will get max particles, random encounters with max Pokemon, and an encounter with Eternatus and some candy for it. And for the deluxe version, you will get everything from the free version, and you'll get an increased chance of encountering shiny max Pokemon, typically found through 1-star through 4-star max battles. You'll get an Eternatus helmet avatar item, additional encounters with more Pokemon, additional candy and Candy XL, including Eternatus Candy and Candy XL, and you'll get additional max particles. And as you level up through the Go Pass, you will reach the following major milestones. Tier 1 will get you increased power for Behemoth Blade and Behemoth Bash, which are the signature attacks for Zacian and Zamazenta respectively, and you'll get additional max particles from power spots. Reaching Tier 2 will get you even more power for Behemoth Blade and Behemoth Bash, and you'll have an increased chance to encounter wild Pokemon near power spots. And for reaching Tier 3, you will get maximum power for Behemoth Blade and Behemoth Bash, and you will receive additional rewards from max Pokemon placed at power spots. But out of all of the Pokemon that are available during this event, which are most worth focusing on? Well, I do just want to note that all of the G-Max Pokemon that have been released so far in Pokemon Go will return for the Max Finale event. This is after the Dark Skies event on the 23rd and the 24th, so do bear that in mind when deciding which Max battles to focus on during this event. Firstly, we have Max Squirtle, and it is a good option because Max Blastoise is a decent tank, and there's no need for a G-Max version if you are just going to use it as a tank, because the only difference is the Max and G-Max attack. Max Ghastly is worth picking up if you don't have access to G-Max Gengar, because Max Gengar is the second best ghost type attacker for Max battles. Max Beldum is a strong option with Max Metagross being a good all-rounder. It can be used as a Max attacker or a Max guard user, but generally it isn't as relevant as it once was because of Crowned Zacian and Zamazenta, but it is a good budget option if you can't get access to them. Max Latias is a decent tank to pick up, and Max Latios is the current best dragon type attacker for Max battles. Max Trubbish could be worth it being a Stardust boosted Pokemon, and you might want Trubbish Candy for G-Max Garbodo when that comes to the game in the future. Likewise, Max Hatenna could be worth it for Candy for G-Max Hatterini when it comes to the game, especially as you can leave max Pokemon at power spots to gain some passive candy. This is especially helpful for legendaries whose candy is hard to come by. Max Sobble is a good budget water type attacker if you haven't got access to any G-Max water types. Max Zapdos is the best electric type attacker other than G-Max Toxtricity, although it does need legacy move Thundershock to be at its best, which does require an elite fast TM. Max Raikou is comparable, not quite as good, but it doesn't need an elite TM move. Max Drillbur is one of the best max Pokemon in the game, including G-Max Pokemon as well. It's a strong steel type attacker and it's the best ground type we have for max battles currently. It also has access to 2 0.5 second animation fast attacks of each of its types that help it to fill the max meter really quickly. This paired with its pretty defensive typing make it a solid tank, and its high HP stat make it a great max spirit user as well. It will be outperformed by a few ground and steel type attackers in the future, but its other utility will keep it relevant. Max Rookidee could be worth it for max Corviknight being a decent tank in some situations. However, if you are going to invest in a tank, I would recommend going for Max Chansey for Max Blissey because it is the best general tank and healer in the game, whereas Max Corviknight is a bit more of a niche tank. Max Blissey has the highest HP, making it the best healer for max battles. Having a couple of Max Blissey to use as tanks and max spirit users is pretty much a must because you will see it as the top tank or close to the top for nearly every max battle boss. Max Machop is a strong fighting type alternative to G-Max Machamp if you don't have access to it. Max Wailmer's evolution Max Wailord has one of the highest HP stats in the game, making it a very strong max spirit user, but Max Blissey is better. Max Darumaka's evolution Max Darmanitan is the best budget fire type attacker for max battles currently, so it could be an option to pick up if you're not likely to get G-Max Charizard or G-Max Cinderace. Similar to Max Darumaka, Max Grookey is the best budget grass type attacker if you don't have access to G-Max Venusaur or G-Max Rillaboom. For the next Pokemon I want to talk about, there is a little bit of a spoiler attached to it, so do skip to this timestamp if you want to skip this spoiler. So in max battles during this event, we also have Max Phalanx, and whilst not currently meta relevant, it has been leaked that this Pokemon could be getting a Mega Evolution in Pokemon Legends ZA. So it is possible that Mega Phalanx could have some relevance in the game whenever it ends up coming to the game. For the wild and research Pokemon, I would recommend catching Grookey, Scorbunny and Sobble for candy to power up the G-Max versions of them if you have them. Or if not, like I said, Max Rillaboom and Max Inteleon are decent budget grass and water type Pokemon if you don't have access to these G-Max forms. But do note that these G-Max forms will be available on the 23rd and the 24th for the Max Finale event. For the raids, we do have Galarian Weezing in 3-star raids, which could be an option to raid if you are a Go Battle League player, with it being ranked 76 in the Great League and it's ranked 27 in the Ultra League. Do remember though, it will have a 10-10-10 IV floor when caught from these raids, so it could be worth mirror trading with a low friendship level friend to reroll the attack IV lower, especially for the Great League. I wouldn't recommend raiding the hero of many battles forms of Zacian and Zamazenta because you won't get Crown Sword or Crown Shield energy from them. Instead, I would wait until the special raid hours to raid the Crown forms, or if you can't make these 2 hours, it is worth noting that they are available during the Max Finale event on the 23rd and the 24th. For Crowned Zacian, it is the #1 steel type attacker with Metal Claw and Behemoth Blade, and it's the second best fairy type attacker with Metal Claw and Play Rough, and it's ranked #2 in the Master League. It's also the best steel type attacker for max battles in terms of DPS, and it's well worth having access to this Pokemon for Behemoth Blade's Adventure Effect, which does increase the attack of Pokemon in raids by 10% and in max battles by 5%, so overall a really great Pokemon to have access to. This Pokemon has a raid TP of 67,864, and the 100% IVs are 2188 and 2735 boosted in cloudy weather. Crowned Zacian is a fairy and steel type, therefore it is weak to ground and fire type attacks. The best counters are Primal Groudon, Mega Charizard Y, Shadow Heatran, Mega Garchomp, Shadow Chandelure, Shadow Groudon, Mega Blaziken, Reshiram, Blacephalon and Shadow Ho-Oh. And for budget counters, I would recommend Chandelure, Skeledirge, Garchomp, Rhyperior, Blaziken and Hisuian Arcanine. For this raid, it can be duoed with the best counters at high levels, but I would recommend 3+ trainers if not. For Crowned Zamazenta, it is the second best steel type attacker with Metal Claw and Behemoth Bash, and it is the highest ranking Pokemon in the Master League. And in max battles, this Pokemon is not far off Crowned Zacian as a steel type attacker. It has a lot more TDO, total damage output, but only a little bit less DPS or damage per second. So it is still a good option as a steel type attacker, but it is as a tank where this Pokemon shines the most. Not only is it generally a really good tank, but it does have the unique ability of starting battles with a max guard shield active already if you have unlocked rank 1 of max guard on it. Behemoth Bash does also have an adventure effect that increases the defense of Pokemon in raids by 10% and 5% in max battles. This Pokemon has a raid TP of 56,867 and the 100% IVs are 2188 and 2735 boosted in cloudy weather. Crowned Zamazenta is a fighting and steel type, therefore it is weak to fighting, ground and fire type attacks. The best counters are Mega Lucario, Primal Groudon, Mega Charizard Y, Mega Blaziken, Shadow Heatran, Shadow Groudon, Shadow Chandelure, Mega Heracross, Mega Garchomp and Terrakion. And for budget counters, I would recommend Lucario, Chandelure, Delphox, Conkeldurr, Skeledirge and Charizard. For this raid, it can be duoed with the best counters at high levels, but I would recommend 3+ trainers if not. And do remember to party up to use party power for both of these raids as well, because it really will make the raids quite a bit easier. These Pokemon are well worth having, and if you didn't manage to get enough energy for them last time, then these raid hours and the Max Finale event will be a great opportunity. And how relevant will Eternatus be in Pokemon Go? Well, as a Dragon type raid attacker with Dragon Tail and legacy move Dynamax Cannon, this Pokemon is looking to be comparable with the best being Mega Rayquaza. As a Poison type attacker, it will most likely be the best or close to it, and it will be one of the best overall damage dealers in the game. It does also seem like this Pokemon will be strong in the Master League as well, and it will be usable in max battles, and it will be the best Dragon type and Poison type attacker we have for max battles so far. And it is the legacy move Dynamax Cannon that makes Eternatus even more interesting because it does have an adventure effect, and the Eternatus that you get for free from this Go Pass will have this legacy move Dynamax Cannon. So activating this adventure effect for 10 minutes costs 5,000 Stardust and 30 Eternatus Candy, and it will temporarily increase the level of your Pokemon's max moves by 1 level. Max moves that haven't been unlocked yet will be increased to level 1 temporarily, and those that have been fully trained to level 3 will be increased to level 4 temporarily. Like other adventure effects, this one can be increased in increments of 10 up to 2 hours, and then up to 24 hours by tapping use again. This would of course require a lot of resources, and in particular candy, with it being 30 candy per 10 minutes. But how can you get this candy? Well, you could always use rare candy on Eternatus, and you will get some extra candy for free from the Go Pass, and more if you do buy the deluxe version of the Go Pass. But the main way for getting candy does involve Eternamax Eternatus. You see, during the Max Finale event, Eternamax Eternatus will be available in max battles to battle against, but upon beating it, you won't get an encounter with Eternamax Eternatus or the regular form of Eternatus. Instead, you will receive candy and Candy XL for Eternatus. So this means that you will only get one Eternatus, and that is from the Go Pass, so good luck on your IVs. But this Pokemon will probably be a target for bottle caps in the future for many trainers, so that is an option if you don't get the IVs you're looking for. Now, it's not only the adventure effect that costs a lot of candy, it will also cost a lot more candy in Candy XL than normal to power up Eternatus. And the amount that it will take has been data mined, so this isn't confirmed by Scopely and it is subject to change, but it seems likely that it will take literal thousands of candy in Candy XL to fully max out Eternatus, but this has been changing pretty often, so we won't know until it goes live. So I am assuming that we will be getting a lot more candy in Candy XL from Eternamax Eternatus battles, but it's not confirmed yet. Not only that, but it has been data mined to max out Eternatus's max moves for max battles. It will cost around 8,000 candy and almost 1,000 Candy XL as well. So getting this candy is going to be one of the main things to do during the Max Finale event. So we do have a lot of strong Pokemon available during the Dark Skies event, and some of them that I mentioned before, the Max Legendary Pokemon in particular, can be quite difficult to beat because you can only have up to 4 players in the lobby. And before I get into the counters for them, it is worth noting that the general strategy is to use tanks with quick fast attacks in the regular battle phase, and then swap into your attackers in the max phase to use their max attacks, then swap back into the tanks and repeat. So for Articuno, it's an ice and flying type, therefore it is weak to electric, fire, steel, and double weak to rock type attacks. The best tanks for this will be Max Blissey with Pound, Crowned Zamazenta with Metal Claw, Crowned Zacian with Metal Claw, G-Max Lapras with Water Gun, and Metagross with Fury Cutter. For attackers, the best will be Max Omastar with Rock Throw, Crowned Sword Zacian with Metal Claw, G-Max Cinderace with Fire Spin, G-Max Toxtricity with Spark, and G-Max Charizard with Fire Spin. For Zapdos, it is a flying and electric type, therefore it is weak to ice and rock type attacks. The best tanks will be Max Blissey with Pound, Max Excadrill with Mudshot, Max Chansey with Pound, Max Latias with Dragon Breath, and Crown Shield Zamazenta with Metal Claw. The best attackers are going to be G-Max Lapras with Frost Breath, G-Max Inteleon with Water Gun, Max Omastar with Rock Throw, G-Max Gengar with Shadow Claw, and Max Articuno with Ice Shard. For Moltres, it's a flying and fire type, therefore it is weak to electric, water, and double weak to rock type attacks. The best tanks will be Max Blissey with Pound, Max Omastar with Water Gun, Max Latias with Dragon Breath, Max Chansey with Pound, and Max Kabutops with Mudshot. The best attackers will be G-Max Inteleon with Water Gun, Max Omastar with Rock Throw, G-Max Kingler with Bubble, G-Max Toxtricity with Spark, and Max Inteleon with Water Gun. Moving on to Suicune, it is a water type, therefore it is weak to grass and electric type attacks. The best tanks will be Max Blissey with Pound, G-Max Lapras with Psywave, Max Chansey with Pound, Max Blastoise with Bite, and G-Max Blastoise with Bite as well. And the best attackers will be G-Max Rillaboom with Razor Leaf, G-Max Toxtricity with Spark, G-Max Venusaur with Vine Whip, Max Zapdos with Charge Beam, and Max Raikou with Thundershock. Speaking of Raikou, it is an electric type and it is weak to ground type attacks. The best tanks are Max Blissey with Pound, Max Chansey with Pound, G-Max Snorlax with Lick, Max Excadrill with Mudshot, and Crown Shield Zamazenta with Metal Claw. For attackers, the best are going to be Max Excadrill with Mudshot, G-Max Inteleon with Water Gun, G-Max Gengar with Shadow Claw, Max Kingler with Mudshot, Mudshot and G-Max Kingler with Mudshot. For Entei, it is a fire type, therefore it is weak to ground, rock and water type attacks. The best tanks are going to be Max Blissey with Pound, Max Latias with Dragon Breath, Max Chansey with Pound, Max Omastar with Water Gun and Max Blastoise with Water Gun. For attackers, the best options are G-Max Inteleon with Water Gun, G-Max Kingler with Bubble, Max Inteleon with Water Gun, Max Excadrill with Mudshot and Max Urshifu Rapid Strike with Waterfall. Moving on to Latias and Latios, they are both Dragon and Psychic types, therefore they are weak to Bug, Dark, Dragon, Fairy, Ghost and Ice type attacks. The best tanks are Max Metagross with Fury Cutter, Max Blissey with Pound, Max Corviknight with Sand Attack, Crowned Sword Zacian with Metal Claw and Crowned Shield Zamazenta with Metal Claw. And for attackers, the best are G-Max Gengar with Shadow Claw, Max Latios itself with Dragon Breath, Max Gengar with Shadow Claw, Max Urshifu Single Strike with Sucker Punch and Max Hatterene with Charm. Now for whichever Pokemon you do decide to focus on during this event, you will want Candy and Stardust to power them up. But how can you maximize on Candy for them? Well, you can always use Pinat Berries when catching Pokemon, and with a lot of the Pokemon being max Pokemon for this event, you can leave them at power spots to gain passive Candy. Make sure to try and leave them at power spots that are popular areas to play, because you gain the Candy through your Pokemon helping other trainers in max battles on that power spot. You can earn up to a maximum of 5 Candy each time you leave a Pokemon at a power spot. You can also Mega Evolve a Pokemon that shares a type with a Pokemon you're catching to increase the amount of Candy, Candy XL and XP you get per catch. Now there are a lot of different types of Pokemon available during this event, especially for the max battle Pokemon, but here are some recommendations for Mega Evolution for each day of the event. For Monday, you could revert Kyogre into its primal form because this will cover Squirtle, Caterpie, Krabby, Shuckle and Sobble. Alternatively, you could Mega Evolve Rayquaza to cover Beldum, Latios, Latias and Hatenna, or you could Mega Evolve a Ghost type for Sableye and Ghastly. On Tuesday and Wednesday, again you could revert Kyogre to cover Omanyte, Kabuto, Zapdos and Toxtricity, or you could revert Groudon for Charmander, Moltres and Scorbunny. Another option would be Mega Rayquaza to cover Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, Pidove and Rookidee. For Thursday and Friday, you could again revert Kyogre for Raikou, Suicune and Wailmer, or you could revert Groudon for Bulbasaur, Entei, Darumaka and Grookey. Another option would be to Mega Evolve Lopunny to cover Machop, Chansey, Persimmon, Squovet, Wooloo and Phalanx. And if you do want to know what else is going on in Pokemon Go in August, then I recommend checking out these videos on the screen next.